We're going to start with this right here. One moment here. Okay, we're going to start with this right here. This is an explanation of Lab 1. Now, the first thing you needed to do, you needed to go to your volts right here and label them all the way 1 through 120. Just put a label on them right there. All right, once you do that, your next step is going to be to use some of these ideas right here. So we have math, PRB, RANDINT. Okay, that's going to be your process, your instructions. So I'm going to go to my calculator right here. Okay, and I'm going to go now. Remember, I had 120 numbers right here. So I had from 1 to 120. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say math. I'm going to go out to PROB. I'm going to go to RANINT number 5. I'm going to go from 1 to 120. I'm going to use 5 numbers and I'm going to hit paste. And I get the 5 numbers that I'm going to use. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select my 5 numbers. So now my first one is number 77. So I'm going to go over here to number 77 right here. There it is. That's 3.5. So we're going to put in 3.5 for my number. So it's 3.5 right there. I'm going to go ahead and cancel these for right now and make sure that we have the right ones. So now I have that one. I'm going to go back to the next one. The next one is 112. So I'm going to go here to 112 and you see it's 4.5. So I'm going to have 4.5 right there. So now the next one right here, I'm going to have is 81. So I'm going to go down here to 81 right here, and it's 5.6. So we have 5.6. Now the next one that we have is going to be now 5.6. That's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So 96 is the next one. So we're going to 6.1 right there. See, it's going to be 6.1. 6.1. And then we're going to go over to the next one. And the next one was 67. So we're going to look over here to 67 and we find 6.1 right here. So 67, if you notice right here, is 6.1. So we have 6.1 right here. So let me see here, make sure. I have 97, 96. So 96 was 6.1. And then the next one, 67, 6.1. Okay, so we have two 6.1s. Interesting. Okay, so now what we can do now is we're going to go to the next part. Now, the next part is not having to do with this sample. The next part has to do with all your population, your whole population. And you're wanting to find out a table for that population. So what we're going to have is we're going to find our highest value minus our lowest value. Okay, one moment here. So remember that what we did was we went to our calculator, we went to math, we went to PROB, we went to RANDINT. Then we chose these numbers right here. Okay. Now that I have that, my next step is going to be to find a frequency table for the whole data. This is chapter 2 now. So what we're doing now is we're going to collect all of the data from chapter 2. So the way we do this is we have to have your highest and your lowest value. So my highest value of the whole data, of all the data, is equal to 9.1. My lowest value is equal to 1. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So I'm going to have my high value minus my low value divided by 5. So I'm going to take 9.1 minus 1 divided by 5. That gives me 1.7. Now again, if I'm really going to calculate this, okay, then I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. I'm going to say 9.1 minus 1. Then I'm going to divide that by 5. Now I'm going to get 1.62, but I'm going to round that up to 1.7. You're always rounding up. So we're going to round that up to 1.7 like that. Now that we have our classes, we begin with our lowest value. Our lowest value was 1, and we're adding to that our class width of 1.7. So 1 plus 1.7 is 2.7. 2.7 plus 1.7 is 4.4. 4.4 plus 1.7 is going to be 6.1. Okay, then 6.1 plus 1.7 is going to be 7.8. Now we're going to do to the upper class limits right there. So we're going to go ahead and look at the upper class limits. We're going to subtract 1 from the last digit right here. So that's going to become 2.6. So it's going to be 2.6. Now we're going to add the class width for the other ones. So 2.6 plus 1.7 is going to give you 4.3. 4.3 plus 1.7 is going to give you 6. Now the other one is going to be 6 plus 1.7 is 7.7, and 7.7 plus 1.7 is 9.4. Now we're going to count all the numbers that fit inside here. Now I did it by going ahead and going to my Excel value, and I entered them all, and I put them from least to greatest, okay? And I just counted, and I counted that there were 23 numbers on the first one, okay? There were 49 numbers on the second one. There were 26 numbers on the next one. There were 17 numbers on the next one, and then there was 5 numbers on the next one. Now this is for chapter 2, okay? So this was for chapter 2 right there. This is going to be for chapter 3, and you're going back to the original your original data, the sample that you had taken. So we had taken this sample right here, okay? Let me see where it is. Okay, so we had taken that sample right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over here. We're going to go to Stat and Edit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press Clear, and I'm going to go ahead and press Clear here, and I'm going to enter my numbers. So see, I'm going to go ahead and say 3.5. I'm going to take 4.5. I'm going to say 5.6. I'm going to have 6.1. Sorry. 6.1, and then I'm going to have another 6.1 right there. So I have those numbers. So I'm going to go to Stat. I'm going to go out to Calc. I'm going to choose one variable stats, and I'm going to choose L1 only. Okay, so I'm going to hit the Calculate button, and I'm going to get my mean and my standard of deviation right there, and all of my other numbers right there. So again, on this one, if I have my mean, okay, so I have my mean for the 5 numbers in the sample. I have 5.17. So I'm going to have that X bar is equal to 5.17. Now notice that the median, if I want to scroll down, oops, sorry. Let me see, second and quit. Okay, hold on for a moment. Second and quit. Okay, so stat, calc, one variable stats, L1. Okay, so now we want to find out the median. So if we scroll down right there, you see the median is going to be 5.6. So it's going to be 5.6, and the symbol for that is that one. The mode, the mode is not on the calculator, but basically it's the one that repeats most often. And basically your mode in this case was 6.1 because it repeated twice. Now the mid-range is going to be your highest value plus your lowest value divided by 2. Some people confuse it by subtracting it, but you don't want to subtract it, you want to add it. So you want to add 6.1 plus 3.5 divided by 2. Okay, so we take 6.1 plus 3.5, and we're going to divide that by 2. We're going to get 4.8. So your mid-range is going to be 4.8 right there. Now your range is going to be your highest value minus your lowest value. So now that's going to become 6.1 minus 3.5. So 6.1 minus 3.5, that gives you 2.6 right there. To find the standard deviation, again, you want to go stat, calc, one variable stats, and calculate. Okay, and you get your standard deviation. It's for the sample, it's 1.13. So we're going to have that our standard deviation is equal to 1.13 right there. Now to find the variance, all you have to do is square the standard deviation. So I'm going to take this number right here. I'm going to choose VARs. I'm going to go out to statistics. Okay, I'm going to use the S of X because it's a sample standard deviation. Okay, and then I'm going to square it. So I'm going to square it, and I'm going to get 1.288. So my answer is going to be that's going to be 1.288. Now the coefficient of variation is basically your standard deviation divided by your mean multiplied by 100. So that's going to be 1.13 divided by 5.17 multiplied by 100. So we have 1.13 divided by 5.17. That gives you about 21.9%. That's the answer. So that's basically what you have for those right there. Okay, now would it be unusual for both measure for a 5.3 millimeter bolt to be? So in order to do that, you're going to take the mean minus twice the standard deviation. You're going to take the mean plus twice the standard deviation. So you're going to take 5.17 minus 2 times 1.13. And then you're going to take 5.17 plus 2 times 1.13. Okay, so we're going to calculate those two. We have 5.17 minus 2 times 1.13. That gives you 2.91. And then 5.17 plus 2 times 1.13, and that gives you 7.43. Okay, so you're going from here to here. Now, 5.3 is inside of this right here, so it would not be unusual. So no, it would not be unusual. Now it says here, use this data, construct a box plot and data, and include the 5-number summary. Okay, find if there are any outliers. All right, so now to do that, what we're going to do is this. Okay, so I'm going to use this right here. Now, to do that, to do the box and whisker plot, we're going to go ahead and first of all, now notice that my numbers are already here. See, I have stat, calc, one variable stats, and I have my numbers here. See, if I scroll down, I have my minimum, my quartile 1, my quartile 2, which is the median, my quartile 3, and my maximum value. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a box, okay, and the box, okay, so I'm going to have a box right there. And the box, the scale right here for the box is going to be between quartile 1, which is 4, and quartile 3, which is 6.1. Okay, now in the middle somewhere is your median, and it's going to be somewhere around here. Okay, and that's going to be about 5.6 right there. Okay, 5.6. Now I'm going to make a whisker, and that's at the minimum of 3.5. So I'm going to have here at 3.5, I'm going to have a point right there and a whisker like that. And on the other side, my maximum value is going to be at 6.1. So I have a whisker right there. Okay, so basically that's your box and whisker plot. Again, your lowest value, your minimum value, let's call it minimum, is going to be 3.5. Your quartile 1 is equal to 4. Your quartile 2, which is the same thing as your median, is equal to 5.6. Your quartile 3 is equal to 6.1. And your maximum value is equal to 6.1. Now, if you want to find the interquartile range, the interquartile range, that's going to be your quartile 3 minus your quartile 1. So in this case, we're going to take 6.1 minus 4 right there. So we have 6.1 minus 4. That gives you 2.1. So your interquartile range is equal to 2.1 right there. Now, to find if there's any outliers, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find the two fences. The lower fence is equal to your quartile 1 minus 1.5 times your interquartile range. And then your upper fence is going to be equal to quartile 3 plus 1.5 times your interquartile range. So here we have quartile 1 is going to be 4 minus 1.5 times 2.1. Okay, so we have that going to be 4 minus 1.5 times 2.1. That gives you 0.85 right there. And on the other side, we're going to have quartile 3, which is 6.1, plus 1.5 times your interquartile range again. So now we're going to have 6.1 plus 1.5 times 2.1. Okay, so we get 9.25. 9.25 right there. Okay, so is there any numbers that are outside of this set of numbers? If there aren't, then there aren't any outliers. And that's going to be your answer for that right there. Okay, so that gives you that part. Now, the other thing that we had to do was this right here. Now, again, on this one, let me go ahead and use this. Which calculator do I have that I have not done that? Okay, it's this one right here. Okay, so basically what we want to do is we want to find the mean of the frequency distribution. So what we want to do is we want to find the midpoints right here for these right here. So if I take, let me go ahead and say 1 plus 2.6 and I divide that by 2, I get 1.8. So my first midpoint is going to be 1.8. Okay, and basically what I'm wanting to do is this. I'm wanting to find my x-axis right there. That's 1.8. And then my frequency, which is going to be 23. And I'm getting that from this table right here. Okay, so the next one, that's going to be 2.7 plus 4.3, which gives me 3.5. Then 4.4 plus 6.0, and that's going to give me 5.2. And then I'm going to have 6.1 plus 7.7 divided by 2, and that's going to give me 6.9. Okay, and then the next one and the last one, 7.8 plus 9.4 divided by 2, and that's going to give me 8.6. All right, so now the frequencies are 49, 26, 17, and 5. So we have those right there. Now our next step, in order to find the mean and the standard deviation, that's going to be to do this right there. We're going to go to our calculator. We're going to go to Stat. We're going to go out to Edit. We're going to enter the numbers for X and L1. So it's going to be 1.8, 3.5, 5.2, 6.9, and 8.6. Okay, and then here we're going to go ahead and say 23, 49, 26, 17, and then 5. So when I go to Stat, Calc, one variable stats, I'm going to choose L1 for the second one, for the first one, and L2 for the second one. I'm going to hit Calculate. Notice that what we get is the mean to be 4.236, so that's going to be about 4.2. So the mean right here is equal to 4.2. The standard of deviation, notice that what it is going to be 1.83. So my standard deviation is equal to 1.83. And then my modal class, now my modal class is the one that occurs the most often or has the highest frequency, and that's going to be 2.7. Okay, that's going to be 2.7 to, let's see, to 4.3. Okay, that's the one that has the highest frequency with 49. And that gives you the answers to this lab. Thank you.